I wanted to talk a little bit about just my book in general, some thoughts about it that, might make things clear. Originally when I wrote it, when I started writing it in 1993, oh, my hair's so wet and I was trying to make it not show in the dark. I just took a shower. I originally started writing it in 1993. Oh, there goes the phone. And my thoughts behind it were that life is a scrapbook. And we have all these clippings in it of our life, in our minds. And they don't necessarily all, they're not all stories, when you write a journal, a diary, and I've been a diarist all my life. When you write a diary, not all of your diary, and people who start diaries, they go, oh, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? A diary is all kinds of things. It's pressed flowers, little notes, shopping lists, bits of perfume, tags from presents, birthday cards, things like that, are slipped. If you're a diarist, you slip those things in there, drawings that you've made. And if someone were to pick up a true diarist, a person, someone who keeps a diary, if they were to pick a real diary up, they would not just say, Tuesday, whatever, say, Tuesday, I went to the store, I came home, I went to bed, thank you very much. They wouldn't see that. There was a book that I read when I was, I was probably about, maybe 9, maybe 10, I don't know, I was pretty young. It was a real good book, and it was called Up the Down Staircase. And I really liked the look of it and the way it was written. It was, the book itself was intriguing and new. They did a movie out of it, but because the movie was just really telling the story, it didn't really capture the feel of the book. So, and this book had little notes in it, stuck in it, where you would read the note, and, then you'd turn the page. And it was all about kind of like a blackboard jungle kind of thing, it was about a high school in a rough part of town. Anyway, so that was the idea that kind of went in my head, was that it would be like that. Then, so I started writing it, and I put in pieces of my diary. I put in notes in the outline of it, of songs, and I put in letters I'd written that would in the end give the story of my life, and it would have the look of and feel of Up the Down Staircase. So that's, and then there would be photographs, stuck in there in kind of a way, with the, I had this whole vision of the way the book would actually look. So then, 1993, I got on the internet. And, back then it was these, it was barely, I was still on DOS. So it was DOS text, and it was gateways, and, that sort of thing. There was no such thing as the World Wide Web yet, and, no pictures hardly, except for like pixelated, really rough things, and MORGs were text-based. They were back then, I think, what were they called? Forget, whatever. So then in, what year was it? Probably the year 2000 about, yeah. About the year 2000 I got arthritis. Now, arthritis runs in my family, and my grandmother had it, and I have it. And it affects my hands first. It affects my knee now, but at the beginning it was just my hands. And over the years, my hands have gotten worse, and it's not as easy for me to type. So I had this kind of paradigm shift, in my mind, in that the book would be an electronic book, kind of, or I would include electronic medium into it as well, because it seemed suiting. So I started writing some of it, my journal parts, into my journal on LiveJournal. And I haven't edited that, to say, oh yeah, that needs to really be stuck in the book. That goes into that book, I haven't done that. But then when YouTube came about, I thought, wow, this is my saving grace. With my hands, first I thought LiveJournal was, because I could voice post via my cell phone, and I've only been doing that recently. Then I saw YouTube, and I kind of clicked in my head. It kind of clicked in my head that perhaps another reason I found YouTube to maybe be my saving grace was that there are stories that I cannot write. I need to tell them out loud as a storyteller, oral historian kind of deal, that kind of thing, where I just relax and tell the story, because I'm a storyteller even more than I am a writer, because I'll sit down and regale people. I'm sorry, I got cream on my face again tonight, but I'll regale people with a story. So the reason I'm telling you this is because I may stop in the middle of reading what I've already got down in print and tell a story that has hit me that day, so that it might be preserved and stuck in the book. So you're watching a kind of progression of this idea that I had about my book. My hope, and it's a big hope, and it's silly, I know, and I sound, it seems vain, I guess, but I've always been told, with people who have read the entire book that I have, and people who have sat and listened to me tell them stories, that they always say, your life would make a great movie. Or they say, you're the female Forrest Gump, aren't you? So, yes, I'm the female Forrest Gump, basically, is what I am, except, it's kind of the opposite, because instead of being kind of, slow mentally, I was very fast mentally. But, so, I know that it's a lofty dream, but I've always dreamed, I never dreamed of being published. I really dreamed of the whole thing being put into a screenplay and see it, because it's a very interesting story of a woman, me, who is a survivor, even though I hate that word, and who lived through a very tumultuous time in a very unique way as a teenage hippie runaway, and did all kinds of things even after that era. I mean, it's a very interesting story. And, after I wrote it, I was like, I was always, people would say that, and I would say things like, oh, every life's a story. Everybody has a story. and it's true. I love to hear other people. That's the reason I, peek in on people on YouTube, is because everybody's got a story. It's just, mine is quite interesting. So, and I was talking to John this evening, and I said, I said to him, there's a lot of people on YouTube that, they get contracts, stuff like that, And he said, well, you might do that. And I said, John, if I got a contract for anything, it would be, I would want a screenplay written, and I would love to see it, and then I'd put a new roof on my house and get a gardener to take care of my yard so that, this old woman could just have her dreams. And that's the story behind the book.